What's good, Ravens fans? It's your boy JG. Today we are back to react to some things on the internet about the Ravens, and I'm here for you guys. So please subscribe. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers. We're pushing. The flock is getting bigger, and I really hope that you guys join the family. Stay for a while, as they say. So today we're going to talk about the top priorities for Ravens and free agency. Again, from our team. Right, not who's else is going to be a free agent from our team. So let's jump right into this article here. And first thing we're going to get out the way quickly. And again, they have a video. They have ads here. Sorry, everybody. Hey, everybody got to make money. I understand. So first thing let's talk about is Lamar Jackson. He's the most important player on our team. He's the most important free agent that we will ever have in our history. He's the only MVP we've ever had. We got to sign him. I'm sorry, guys. There used to be, you know what? Let me take a pause here, guys, really quickly. There used to be a time in the world, and I know everything is new, so I'm not mad. There used to be a time where you had to do things for the respect of your franchise, right? And now in today's era, we don't do that anymore. But it's, keeping Lamar, isn't it crazy that there'll be a potential? Like, let's say Lamar goes for another team, wins the Super Bowl, and has another 8 great seasons and becomes a Hall of Famer. Isn't it crazy that his bust will probably be in another team's Hall of Fame? Isn't it crazy that even though he won an MVP for us, we're probably not going to retire his number? He probably won't be in our Ring of Honor, even though he's our only MVP. If he doesn't stay, that's too crazy for me. That's too much. Bring him back, please. For the love of goodness, bring him back. That's just too much for me. So, all right. Back to it. So I'm not even going to talk about that. And again, this is the must-sign players, of course, Lamar. This one I disagree with. But I will say I put a caveat here. Marcus Peters. I think he had a season that was average for him. He's a much better player, but he was injured. And that injury is something that I think did affect him, especially his speed this year. His speed just wasn't there. He's a better player than that, but I just think that the injury, hurt him. He also likes to jump routes, and teams attack him. Teams attacked him all year. Of course, they're not going to attack Humphrey, but they attacked him. So that's going to be a problem for me. Now, the caveat here is that if you can get him for this number, if this is the number you can get him at, you sign him right now and you give him it right away. For a cornerback of his level, this is a great number, even if he's lost a step, and you only have to do it for 2 years. And after the next year, you can easily trade a 1-year, $9 million contract for a second-round pick, a third-round pick. That's easy to do. And, guys, I hate picks, right? I know you guys like to value these picks. Picks are dumb. They don't pan out. The success rate on picks is like under 30%, especially the later you get into the rounds. So it's just not a good deal, right? Think about the best quarterbacks in the league. All like the top, 3 of the top 4 of them have been in the league for 5 years or more, which means the last 4 years, we don't have any top 5 quarterbacks, right? I think the youngest one is Joe Burrow probably, and he was drafted 3 years ago. So, every year you get one player at that premium position that's really, really good on average. So that's just not good enough. So, but here, if you can get him for this number, you sign him right now, okay? And again, I'm gonna tell you guys, I know Marcus Peters had a bad season. I saw it. He's a much better corner than that. He was coming off an injury. If you can sign him for 2 years, $18 million, which is his estimated market value, give him that money. He is 100% worth that. Give it to him. All right. Next is Geno Stone. I also disagree with this one too, with a caveat. And I think this is where I'm going to say this is just unrealistic, this number here. But Geno Stone is not a must-have player, right? This is what the section says, must sign. Okay, must sign. He is not a must sign player. He is a valuable player. Now, is he Is he better than most of his peers at the safety position in the NFL? Hell yes. Hell yes, he is. Geno Stone impressed me multiple ways, okay? Geno Stone impressed me in so many ways this season, I can't even explain it. I thought that he was one of the top 10 to 15 safeties this year when he was playing in the league. The issue that we have is that we also have two other top 10, 15 safeties. And Marcus Williams and, of course, Kyle Hamilton. This all together means that there might not be enough space for him. Now, there's a caveat here. They say that his market value is 3 years, $6 million. If you can get him for that, you sign him. That number is BS. Again, this is a BS number. Sorry, I was about to curse. This is not a number that you're going to get Geno Stone for. Geno Stone's number is going to be more like $10 million a year, okay? That's why I also kind of think even that the Marcus Peters number is a little small. I think Geno Stone, let me say this, he might not be $10 million. It'll be closer to $10 million than it is to $2 million. I can guarantee you that. He's a starter in this league. Now, safeties get paid bad contracts, so he might be getting, $7 million a year, but he won't get $2 million a year. And at $7 million a year, that's a pretty hard number to jump at, especially if you get Marcus Peters back. So I disagree that he's must-have, but I do agree if you can get him for this number, you have to get him, and you have to find a way to get him on the field. Replaceable but important. See, I actually disagree here again, and these numbers are BS. I'm not even going to talk about the numbers anymore. There's no way you're getting him at $1.5 million a year. If you get Ben Powers for $1.5 million, I will be amazed. I will be shell-shocked at that number. And especially in the league where there are no good offensive linemen. After the top, percentile of them, right? Every team has at least one or two good offensive linemen. No team has four. And if you have 5 good offensive linemen, you're the best team in the league. But no team has 4 great offensive linemen. And it's really simple because it's hard to be a great offensive lineman when you can't have physical contact for a lot of times during the year. It's hard to be a great offensive lineman when in the college game, very little teams play a pro-style offense. So because of that, I actually think Ben Powers is a must-sign. He played well. He'll get better. And again, with a healthy offensive line for a majority of the year, he could be great. Again, offensive line is one of those positions where you can be a stud, but you can also look bad if other players aren't doing their job, right? Especially because statistics are hard for, offensive linemen to get, right? And when I say that, let me explain. He received a solid PFF grade of 62.9, and PFF, that means you're average, right? The issue that he has is that if someone runs a stunt and the guy stunts to his side, but the handoff wasn't quick enough, that's his fault, right? If the guy that's assigned to you on the outs, so let's say he's a guard, the left tackle, right, doesn't get the guy stunting to the inside. So now the guy looks like he's closer to Ben Powers, so they're going to knock his grade down. That's not fair, right? But when you pull, right, there are assignments, right? So if Ben Powers overruns a outside linebacker to get to the next level, and the guy behind him who's also pulling doesn't get to the outside linebacker, then they're going to count that to Ben because he's the first guy out there, right? So these are just some things that are hard. I think he's better than that number at 62.9, and I honestly think that if we can get him, we should. Even at a higher number than they're projecting, their number's just terrible at $1.5 million a year. That's going to be too low. But if we can get him, let's get him. And then here it says replaceable but important. Demarcus Robinson. I actually think this number you can get him for that number. Demarcus Robinson was the best receiver on the best receiver on our team after our top 2 receivers went down. Sammy Watkins was not good. James Prochet was terrible. James Prochet was trash this year. I'm done talking about James Prochet's off-season rise. He does it every year. No. Demarcus Robinson, though, he is a good number 3 receiver. If you can get Demarcus, listen, guys, Demarcus Robinson is a great number 3 receiver. He showed that he has number 2 ability if you throw him the dang ball, right? To get him a number 3 spot, you have to develop, Bateman more. Bateman can be a good number 2, and if you can trade for number 1, You can call up Arizona and say, hey, let's get Hopkins there. We're done here. We're good. That's a receiving duo that's really, really great. If you got Demarcus Robinson at your 3, you got Bateman at your 2, you have someone like Hopkins or a really great number 1 at your 1. Hopefully, you might still want to go draft a receiver, but you don't want to reach for receivers, especially if the Ravens, because you're terrible at that. So this was an interesting article here. Again, just a quick recap here. Of course, Lamar Jackson, me and I are going to talk a lot about him because, of course, he's a must-sign player. Marcus Peters, if we can get him at this number, let's take him. But he has lost a step, so anything too high or too long of a contract, we're not going to take him. Geno Stone, I would argue, is the second most talented player on this list. If we can get him for the number, of course, that's easy. I don't think we can get him for that number, but we'll see. Ben Powers here, not for this number, but we should get him even for a higher number. I think he'll be better next year. And Demarcus Robinson is a no-brainer. We can get him at this number at 1.2. We should get him. He's a great number 3. He cannot be a number 1 or a number 2, but as a number 3, I think he's a great, great option. So we should do it. So you guys, please let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I like to find these articles that are interesting. Subscribe. It gets to 5,000. I would appreciate it. Thanks, and go Ravens.